I look like poop and that's okay because I don't feel very good right now. But I make a video every day. Um, I don't really know what today's date is. I think today is the 22nd, so I think this is my 22nd video. So, my name is Lydia. Welcome to my channel. I'm highly addicted to animal crackers. You are not on a sturdy surface. You're going to move a lot. You are on a teddy bear's butt. Well, you're on a head now, but... So, I didn't know what to talk about today. So, I figured I was going to talk about a very scary incident I had. Now, for those of you who use things like Tinder, Plenty of Fish, POF, I think it's called as well, Meet Me, etc. Those are like the basic apps to go find somebody to fuck. But if you're somebody like me, you go on things like FetLife, kink apps, so on. So when I was 18 and I came out openly with my kink life and such, I got really into depth with a lot of the things I was doing. And I decided, because I was super excited about coming out, and I felt like I was fully grown as an adult, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a fet life. And yeah, I wanted to see if I can meet anybody near me. Well, I had a lot of creepy encounters. A lot of people sent me pictures of their penises that I did not need. I'd seen different races of penises. I've seen different ball sacks. It was, terrible. Ugh. Okay, so, I met a guy though, and for the sake of his privacy, for this video, we're gonna call him Mr. Pickles. Well, Mr. Pickles lived in another town that I'm also not gonna mention for the sake of him, which I shouldn't really give I shouldn't give any mercy to him. But I got bored one night, so I decided to check my FetLife. And when I checked my FetLife, Mr. Pickles sent me a message. So I got talking to Mr. Pickles, it was good old laughs. It was none of the, oh, here's my dick, you want my penis. It was none of that. It was a good civil conversation. Hey, how are you? What's your favorite movie? Who's your favorite actor? And I was really bored, so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll come meet you, because he offered it. He's like, well, drove me on the Berry to stay at a hotel for the night because I had to get up early for my sister's wedding. So I'm like, okay, well, if you want to meet up, sure, let's do it. Why not? What else am I gonna do? Like, I'm a loser. I stay inside and watch movies all day. So I decided to get out of my bed. I got dressed. No, I didn't get too snazzy. I wore, at the time I had a pair of latex pants. I wore those. I wore these beautiful, thick 9-inch stilettos I used to own. I don't own anymore, sadly. They had, little spikes in the back. They were really cool. I wore a tank top, and I wore a cropped sweater underneath, so, it cropped underneath my boobs. It was really pretty. I wore, my black eyeliner, red and black lipstick mixed together. At the time, I had hair down to my shoulders, maybe a little bit longer, and I had, that emo hairstyle. The rain outside scared me. It just started spontaneously raining. And, anyways, my hair was, a reddish black with, a tinge of whitish gray into it. And I was like, you know what, this is gonna be fun. I wasn't really looking for a relationship. I was more or less looking just for friends. Even my page at that time said, just looking for friends. So I was like, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna enjoy this. Well, when I got there, yes, this guy was who he said he was. Grateful for that. He wasn't a catfish, thank Lord. But he was really creepy. I don't know, when I met him through the phone, he seemed okay, but when I got up to meet him in person, he gave me a lot of red flags. You know when you talk to somebody over line and they seem okay, but if you get to meet them in person, they throw little red flags at you, and something inside you tells you to run away, kind of like when Pinocchio's instinct tries to tell him to do something, he doesn't listen. Yeah, well, that was me, but I didn't listen to my conscience, and I was like, it's just my anxiety, I'm fine. So I got into the was a bar restaurant thing, but for the sake of privacy and such, we're gonna call this restaurant Hell because the date was hellish. So we got into the little caf and well, like the little fucking restaurant caf thing. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I'm tired. I can't think. So we sat down, started talking. He ordered a drink and asked me if I wanted one. So I said I don't really drink. I drink occasionally, like I might have a glass of wine every blue moon. I wasn't really, I've never been into alcohol. So I was like, I'll just get a glass of like soda or water. So I decided to settle on Mountain Dew, no ice, because I don't drink ice from anywhere for a lot of reasons. Um, so when my drink got there, we had to order the food, obviously. So, everything was kind of going good. We had a great conversation. He was very silly and he was very sweet. And I was like, okay, this guy doesn't seem that bad. So I had to pee. So I got up and left my drink unattendedly to go pee. Well, when I came back, that little red flag went off again. And instead of drinking my drink, I decided to just ask the bartender to just get me a new one. And at first, he seemed like very excited that I came back to the table, but when I reordered another drink, he just seemed very bleh. I didn't know, like, I'm cautious about that. Like, if I leave my drink at a table unattended, I most likely will get a new one instead of drinking it because I don't trust my drink unattendedly, especially if it's with a stranger, because you don't know if they're gonna drug it or not. Now, if I'm with my best friends and I leave a drink at the table unattendedly, I still will change it because my best friends are the ones who will put wasabi in the bottom of my drink or something spicy or something disgusting and make my drink taste terrible. So, you know, he kind of got all weird, you know, at me. And what really creeps me out is I had an old Instagram account. Very old. I don't use it anymore. But it's where I did a lot of my kitten space, my little space, and so on. And now, this account was very private. It was very secluded. I had it on locked, so only people, if I knew you, I would follow you. I had maybe 20 followers on that. I was very shy and very secluded, like I said, about that page. And I knew for a fact I was not following him on Instagram. And he pulled up my Instagram page, and like you could flat out see he was following me somehow. And I was like, what? I was like, what's your Instagram name? So he told me. Mr. Pickles told me his Instagram name. So I looked through and he was not on my Instagram. So my gut started tangling and I started feeling like maybe he hacked it or something. But I was like, that's bullshit because my password was like literally almost 20 letters long. It was ridiculous. So I started getting really anxious and I just told him I didn't want to be there anymore and I wanted to go home. So I just grabbed my purse and my cell phone and I was just about to leave. And I was driving my friend's car at the time, and I went to go. I was trying to find my keys in the purse, and he smiled at me and put his elbow on the table, and, like rested his hand like that, and he was like, "What you looking for?" And I was like, "My keys." And now, quick note: I never left my purse unattended. I've never, ever in my entire life, ever left my handbag, my backpack unattended. I'm very protective of my bags, mostly because I carry medications and inhalers, and that is not something you want to lose or misplace. Those are very valuable. So he pulled out my keys, and I literally grabbed my keys, and I walked out, and I stuck my hand in my purse, and I felt for my mace, and I held my mace with dear life until I got to my car. When I got to my car, I opened it. I did a quick cavity search. Well, not really a cavity search, that's the wrong word. But I did a quick search of my entire vehicle. Really quick. And then I hopped in and I drove off. I stopped down at the nearest grocery store parking lot. I got out and did another quick search to make sure nobody was in there. And so on. I ended up driving to my friend's place because it was a lot closer. And I crashed there for the night because I was so creeped out by this guy. The fact that he knew who I was, he knew my birth name, which is not something a lot of people know. Only maybe a handful of people know my birth name. he knew, um, my Instagram name, which is really freaky because at that time not a lot of people knew who I was as a person. Um, he somehow got a hold of my keys, and he actually did pressure me a few times to get alcohol instead of pop or soda, whatever you want to call it. I basically deleted FetLife, and I sent FetLife a long letter explaining the date from hell. It was terrifying as I learned my lesson. I have never used a social app like that before, and I will never use another app like that again. Never. I I was so terrified. And the main lesson I learned there was if you meet somebody online and you go to meet them in person and you start getting red flags and you're not even in the restaurant yet with them, leave. Abort the mission. Like, text your friend and be like, call me and cry. I don't care what you're gonna do, abort that mission. Because as soon as you feel that red flag, it is time to leave. Get out. Because obviously something is wrong. If your gut is telling you to leave, leave. I wish I had listened to my gut feeling because for all I could have known, that guy could have been stalking me. So that was my date from hell. It wasn't really a bad date. It was more or less like creepy as, and I learned a very, very valuable lesson. I have never used FetLife again. I've never been on any dating site except for FetLife. I will have to lie, but on one other one. I don't remember what it was called though. I was very young. I was like 15, 16. But I've never used a dating app again. I will never use one again. That date scared the shit out of me. I literally, that freaked me out. I literally left my Instagram. I went and made a new one. And then I lost that Instagram and yeah, but it was really freaky and it was just no. So yeah, if you guys go on a date, whether it be from Tinder, Plenty of Fish, any date, I don't care how high the ratings are. If you go on a date with somebody, know there are creepy people out there. I don't care how old you are. Tell somebody where you are going and keep your friends updated because you're going to meet a practical stranger. And for all you know, this person could be a psychopathic serial killer. They could have been stalking you. Um, I just want to give you guys a quick tip though. This is just to help people, in serious situations. Never do the same thing twice. Okay? Change your routines every day. When you get up in the morning, wake up late, every blue moon, drive a different way to work. Take longer or shorter times in supermarkets. Just change your routine. Because if somebody is stalking you off of a social media app you're using, or they're stalking you in general, they're used to your routine. That's what a stalker does. So if a stalker finds that your routine is changing, it'll make them come out. And then if you notice this person's coming around more often, that is when you go to the police. And it is a good thing to do, especially if you're on dating apps and such, because for all you know, these people could actually be in your town, even if they say they're not, and they could be stalking you. There could be people out there stalking your Plenty of Fish, your Tinder, and they could be stalking you in real life. It is always good to take precautions because you never know when you could be kidnapped, when somebody can break in and turn to your house and hurt you. This world is a very scary place. So if you go on apps like that, it is great to use precaution. I didn't listen to my gut feeling and I regretted it. If I had stayed there for longer, and that man followed me out, I could have got seriously hurt. I got out of there probably in the nick of time. I learned my lesson. I never did that again. I've never been on a dating app again because dating apps are dangerous. Social media is a very dangerous place. You need to be very cautious on who you talk to. Never meet somebody within the first few hours of talking to them. Talk to them for a good few weeks. I'm not saying a week, I'm saying a few weeks. Like approximately a month, if not longer. Get to video call them, make sure they're a real person, get to know their personality, but take cautions. Never meet somebody alone for the first time in their house. Make sure it's always meeting them in a public place. And always change your routines. Even if you're not on a dating app or social media, change your routines, because if somebody is stalking you, they won't be used to your routines because you change them. Like me, I don't leave my house much, but I walk different routes to go to where I'm going. Like if I go to Tim Hortons one day, I'll take the shortcut. Next day, I'll take the long way. Next day, I'll take the reverse cut. I change my routines every day, so if somebody is watching me or somebody's out to get me, they're not going to be used to my routine because I'm a very confusing person. So that was my date from hell. That was a quick tip. Also, this actually might be able to help people. Let me just think for this. 1 second. Okay, so never mind. I can't find it. Go out and buy handcuff keys. Like, I'm not talking about like the little tiny ones for sexual purposes. I'm talking about the real handcuff keys, because most handcuffs are made normal size for every single handcuff. Use a handcuff. Always carry a handcuff key with you. So if somebody handcuffs you, make sure you put it underneath a bandage or in your sock. I prefer a bandage. Like normally, if I'm going out, I keep right here on my hip bone. I'll put a bandage right here, big enough where the spot, the soft spot, the key will go under that. So if somebody kidnaps you and they do a cavity search, they're not gonna rip off the band-aid. Well, they might, but if they do find that key and you're stuck in a trunk and you're still in handcuffs, if there's nothing you can pry open handcuffs with, like, I'll show you. These are not good handcuffs. These are cheap handcuffs. These are like shitty, no-name kink handcuffs. So, but they're handcuffs. So, if you guys see right here, this little part right here, if you guys can get something wedged between them, yes, this will cut your wrists. Make sure I'm gonna show you real quick. Like I said, these are just cheap ass handcuffs. These aren't actual handcuffs. If somebody puts you in these handcuffs, you can pry these open. And there's also a switch that you can open these with. But if you're in handcuffs, right, and you're bony like me, try to twist it so when they handcuff you, they can't handcuff you tight because it'll snap your bones and they don't want to do that. And then wiggle it so it goes up. Try to get it as far away from your main artery veins, which are in there. You don't want them hitting your veins, and try to pry this part open. Yes, it'll cut your arm, but you will be able to get open. If they're stupid enough to put you in handcuffs like this, remember this little part right here, if you can push it up and you can manage to push it up, you can break yourself free. There's also, in every handcuff, there is going to be a handcuff key. Like I said, real actual handcuffs do have the same key for everything. If you can manage to find something to pick lock this, or you can actually get to your key, you can get out. Now, if you're in handcuffs and let's just say you're handcuffed from the front, that's great. You have an easier escape. If you're handcuffed from the back and you are stuck in a trunk and there's a bag over your head, I don't care how hard it is to try, you have to try and figure out how to either get your handcuffs underneath your legs and over so you can pull that bag out and see, or you have to follow your instincts. Your main goal is to get out of that trunk before they stop, because on the first stop, they are going to get out and either chloroform you or tie you up tighter, because normally a kidnapper will not fully restrain you until it gets their first stop, which is normally somewhere that is closed or not filled with a lot of people, well, no people at all. Your main goal is, if you are in a trunk and you are handcuffed, and let's just say you are blindfolded or you can't see, or if they put a bag over your head and tied your wrist real quickly and threw you in a trunk, twist on your back and feel up to the trunk, and you feel for that latch switch on the trunk and fling it open, alright? If you still feel the car moving, wait until it slows down. When it starts to slow, get out and roll and get up and run. I don't care if you can't see, just run. Eventually you'll hit something, or you'll hit someone, or someone will hit you, but it'll be a lot better than being in that trunk. I have not been quite kidnapped yet, but I have been attacked in the streets as a woman it is good to know, oh, a woman or a man, it is nice to know how to get out of handcuffs. It is good to know how to get a zip tie. Zip ties are very easy to get out of, though. Just put them between your shoes and rub as fast as you can. Most laces will break zip ties. Um, I've had a lot of kink training with handcuffs, fake ones, real ones, so I know a lot of ways to get out of handcuffs, more than just handcuff keys. Um, Now, a lot of people say carrying mace does protect you. I live in Canada, so mace is actually illegal, so the mace I carry isn't technically mace, it's actually dog repellent, but dog repellent hurts kind of as much as mace, so, but it is important if you live in Canada. Yes, it's actually illegal to defend yourself in certain situations, but I rather get charges pressed on me for defending myself than me getting raped and having that traumatization on my shoulders. I'm sorry if that upsets some of you, but the dog repellent I haven't actually had to use yet, which is great. I'm so grateful I don't have to use that. But you can't rely on dog repellent. You can't rely on mace. Yes, it might be able to um, defend you for a short while, but if you are walking down the street, this is another quick tip. If you're walking and somebody grabs you and puts you in a restraint like this, or just cuffs your arms and you can't move, use your foot and aim either for the kneecap or take your elbow and aim right here. If you aim for this muscle right in here, it'll hurt. And never aim, you can try aiming for the balls. I don't suggest it though, because a lot of people, if they are male and they attack you, they're going to wear ball guards because they know you're going to aim for it. Um, Biting doesn't always work. They can actually crunch on your jaw and snap your jaw on you. Um, I always say use your elbow because elbows are very bony and they hurt. If you can hit his or her knee, and make them go down to a shorter level, you can use your elbow, swing it back, and smack them in the bottom of the jaw, as it'll make their head go back. It'll flip them back and give you time to run. Use your thumbs for eyeballs. If you can get your thumbs to go back, always jab for the eyes. If you can't see, obviously they can't attack you. It is little things like that that can literally save your life. Um, Most cars do come with an emergency latch at the bottom. It does glow in the dark, but like I said, when somebody kidnaps you and throws you in their trunk, normally you aren't tightly restrained. Your goal is to get out of that trunk before the first stop. If that car is turning and you are still stuck in that trunk and you have not fully gotten out yet, as soon as you get out of the trunk, your first goal, yes, get out. Stay calm. First thing is stay calm. Second, get out of the trunk. Step 3 is to count your paces. 1, 2, 3, 4, left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right. So on. Keep track of how many times you turn. How many seconds in a car before you turn. You can feel the car move. Keep track of that. When you feel that car slow down, hit that button, get out and run. Run as fast as you can. Take cover. Get into a tight crevice the person can't get out of. Hide yourself. Get somewhere with people, or get something that can defend you with. If you are running and you are in a countryside, look for rocks, look for big pieces of wood, look for anything that you can purposely defend yourself with. Now, most women in society have talons for nails. You can use your nails. Nails are very sharp. Nails are made of very hard plastic as well. So that can be a good defense if you can't find a rock. If you're stuck in the middle of the boondocks running, rocks are capable. If you are trapped in if you get out and you notice there's lots of forest ground, run into the woods, climb a tree, hide in the tree temporarily until you feel like you are safe, then get out of the tree and run back to a main road and keep walking until you either find a house or you find somebody and get to the police. I know I went from a date to hell, but now I'm talking about safety precautions, as I know a lot of people get attacked. I live in a very quaint neighborhood, but there's like a little alleyway that is faster to go towards Max Milk or the Tim Hortons, and I sometimes cut through that, but I don't do it at night because there's people who actually hide in the dumpsters. There's people who do drugs behind those dumpsters at night, and it is precautionary that you can get out and get attacked. I also don't live very far from Sunnydale Park, and that is a park that is known. All of the Sunnydale Forest is actually just up the road. It's maybe about a 10-minute walk. That is a forest that a lot of women have been known to go missing in. A couple years ago, there was a young lady who was, I forget her name, but she was brutally murdered. She was cut up to little pieces and basically spread all over my town. Oh, it was terrible. Scary things happen. It is great to take precautions and to know how to protect yourself. It is not only good to know basic self defense, but it is good to know your surroundings. Like with me, when I leave my house, I count how many cars drive by, I count how many people drive by. If somebody's walking behind me, I count how fast they're walking. I can do that. If I go into a mall, I count how many cameras there's around me, so I know approximately how far the security area would be from the cameras, because it's hard to explain. I'm just good at that. I will count how many security guards I see. I will count how the security guards are walking. I will picture their movements. I will memorize how they walk and what they're doing, so that I know approximately where they will be if an endangerment happens. I'm very good at knowing my surroundings, counting heads and remembering faces. um I'm pretty good at that. I'm very aware of my surroundings. um I don't, when I walk, if I'm walking alone, I normally count to five and then I look back and I look to my sides just to keep safe, and then I count to five again, I look back. Normally it's either 5 or 10, but I always am aware of my surroundings, because you never know who is going to attack you or what can happen. It's knowing that you can literally walk outside your house, walk around the corner, and somebody can kidnap you. That's where most kidnappings, rapes, and so on happen, is not even up the road from your house. And as a young woman, it is nice to be precautioned. It is nice to have precautions about society. But yeah, those are some quick tips. I'm sorry I got so off track from talking about um my date from hell. Now I'm talking about the endangerments of social media and society. I just want you guys to be safe and be aware of your surroundings at all times. And I want you guys to know how to be able to get out of scary situations like that. The top thing to know is if you are being attacked or somebody's kidnapping you, to stay calm, but you also need to get out of that position ASAP. Um, Normally, all trunks, every single trunk has a latch lever. If you do not see something glowing in that trunk, it means it's an older model, which is a good thing to remember. Which only means that the thin piece of fabric at the edge of the trunk, if you tear that down, you should see a little thing glowing. That is the lock switch. If you smash